Good morning, Jefferson City. I'm Amanda Riley, and this is your Thursday, July 23rd NT Daily. Last night, candidates in 3 big August 4th races faced the room. We'll break down what stood out with special guest Jake Kroesen, who was there for all of it. But first, let's get to a few of your headlines for Thursday. We're starting downtown. The City Council introduced a bill this week to raise parking rates gradually through 2030. Starting in September, all hourly metered parking jumps to $1. From there, rates climb every September. By 2030, premium spaces near the Capitol will run $2.10 an hour. Everywhere else, $1.10. The city hired PCI Municipal Services last year to run its parking system. PCI raised fines to $25, then recommended this. The number the city's watching, $345,000. That's the extra revenue this is expected to bring in every year. Monthly garage permits are going up too. At the Jefferson Street Garage, uncovered parking jumps from $95 a month to $140 in September, climbing to $154 by 2030. One city official put it simply, Jefferson City hasn't touched these rates in 30 years. The council votes on this August 3rd. Speaking of getting around, some city bus routes are about to run a little differently. Starting Monday, Jefferson City Transit will alternate service on 2 sets of routes. Green and gold will alternate, so will blue and red. The reason? Staffing shortages. If you ride the bus, build an extra time. Buses won't run on their usual frequency during the stretch. The transit division says it's working to get back to full service as soon as possible. Questions go to 573-634-6477. And speaking of getting where you need to go, a quick word from one of our NT Daily sponsors. This segment of the NT Daily is brought to you by MU Healthcare. MU Healthcare's front door is never too far from yours. With more than 80 locations across mid-Missouri and expert hospital care right here in Jefferson City and in Columbia, MU Healthcare is committed to making sure every Missourian has access to the most advanced diagnostic and treatment options. MU Healthcare, expert care close to you. Now to a project years in the making. Cole County's new $14 million Juvenile Center has lost 13 days of construction due to rain since breaking ground in March. But the builder told commissioners this week the end date isn't moving. They're still on track for March of 2027. One commissioner called the project over the hump after a soggy April and May. The new center will include 8 detention cells and 6 residential beds for kids who've been removed from their homes. The county's also eyeing what comes next, selling the current juvenile center, the smallest of its kind in the state. That decision is still a few months out. The county says it'll get serious about it this fall. If all of this talk of construction has you thinking about projects of your own, today's show is also sponsored by Coleman Appliance. They're family-owned, locally rooted, and bring more than 70 years of combined experience. So when you walk into their 4,000 square foot showroom, you're actually talking to people who know appliances. Coleman Appliance carries top brands like GE, Bosch, Frigidaire, Speed Queen, and more. And they stay on top of the latest manufacturer rebates and promotions to help you get the best value out there. Visit Coleman Appliance in Jefferson City and let their team help you find the right fit for your home. Okay, so we are wrapping up the news with the primaries. Voters in 3 mid-Missouri races head to the polls August 4th in less than 2 weeks. State Representative District 59, State Representative District 60, and State Senate District 6. Last night, candidates in all 3 races met for a forum hosted by the Jefferson City Area Chamber of Commerce and us at News Tribune and the California Democrat. Topics ranged from Amendment 3 to the state's Second Amendment Preservation Act to how Jefferson City pays for its new conference center. So what actually stood out from the room? Jake Kroesen was there. He covers Missouri politics for the Missouri Times, and he joins us next. Welcome back, everybody. I am joined with Jake Kroesen from the Missouri Times. Jake was at the forum last night where candidates from 3 upcoming primaries discussed topics, issues, all the things. So thank you for joining us today.
Happy to be here, Amanda.
So what actually stuck with you last night? What's the story nobody's telling?
Well, what stuck with me last night, one was the crowd we got. It does show that these local events continue to have strength in their communities and continue to have some degree of support, and people do like going to these events and hearing from the people that are going to represent them in Jeff City. But also the story I think that nobody's really talking about is just how close these races are.
Oh.
When we look at the Senate District 6 especially, every week I see a new poll with a new candidate up leading the race, and then it really is a tight race right now in all three of those races, but especially the 6th District and the Senate. But I think what it's going to show eventually is that local forums like this are a backbone for communities like Jefferson City, and continue to play a pivotal role in our democracy and local government as well. And I think it was really nice seeing the amount of people we got out last night to come listen to these candidates speak. And it was just great to see that the candidates took the time to get off the campaign trail and to really come out. I think Derek Spicer was the one that mentioned that nobody really understands just how much effort people put into these races. And it's a lot of effort, and it's really great to see that candidates take the time to come out and talk to voters, and that voters take the time to come out and listen to the candidates. So,
well, I think that's great. And for some of our viewers at home that might not be aware of the map or the lay of the land, I know we've got some overlap in Jefferson City itself for the state representative districts 59 and 60. So we'll post a link in the comments on our YouTube of where you can find those maps and, see where that is. And you can also look and see what will be on your potential ballot, based on your address and all of those things. So, and then again with Senate District 6, that covers quite an extensive, 5 counties?
Yes, I believe so. It is Morgan, Miller, and Montauk, as well as Camden County and Cole County.
Right.
So it is pretty extensive. Camden County, of course, has a large chunk of the lake area, so that's a major district right there.
Right.
So yeah, it's a pretty extensive county or district they got.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I guess let's switch it up and talk about some of the topics that were covered. You were there and, asking questions, doing the things. So what do you think? Let's talk about Amendment 3. Did anybody really take a position on it, or did we stay vague? What did you?
Well, it is a Republican primary right now that's seeing the contested races, and everybody in a Republican primary is always 100% pro-life. I think every candidate said that. But there are a few candidates, though, that did receive the MRL endorsement, which MRL stands for the Missouri Right to Life.
Okay.
MRL is one of the biggest endorsements you can get in a Republican primary. Looking back at the 6th District again, Jake Vogel was the sole endorsement from the MRL group. That is a huge thing, a huge win for Jake Vogel in a Republican primary like that. But everybody in a Republican primary, as I said, is always pro-life. Right. And always says they are 100% pro-life. It is very interesting, though, because this year with Amendment 3, they had to do a little bit of a back step now that it is not as extensive as the law used to be before the current Amendment 3 was in place.
Okay.
So now this Amendment 3 would have exceptions in place for abortions. So it is very interesting to see Republicans kind of move to the center ground, as it were, on abortion policy.
No, definitely. I think they can do that. So something that was kind of, I don't know, with the Second Amendment Preservation Act, I know they covered that as well. What was the consensus on that?
So everybody, again, just like pro-life, a Republican primary, everybody's 100% pro-guns. It's just a matter of whether or not you believe the bill was carefully constructed.
Right.
Representative Rudy Veit had some concerns about the Second Amendment Preservation Act, or SAPA. He had some concerns. I believe he had some words to say about that also in the chamber during the debate this session. So there's good room for debate amongst Republicans on how gun policy can play out. Rudy had a very, very good argument. He was talking about the constitutionality of it. I think there is within the Republican Party still some ground to move around on and discuss just how we handle the issue of firearms in our state.
Right. Yeah, that was kind of a gimme question there. I'm going easy on you this morning, Jake. Did this? I don't know if this came up at all, but 2 of the D60 candidates used to sit on city council together.
Yeah.
So is there a little history there?
Not as much as you'd think. It was very cordial. with politics you see nowadays, you see a lot of yelling and screaming at each other. But no, I mean, last night I think was a really good example of what politics can be. It was very cordial. Everybody, you know, if they had a disagreement, was very, very, you know, it was very calm and collected. But it was a good debate. 60 was very interesting. Obviously, that would be central Jefferson City.
Right.
So that one is very interesting. You got Shane Campeter there. You got former city council member Scott Spencer, also a local firefighter, and then Kira Johnson, who served in the legislature. I knew her when she was serving as chief of staff in the state Senate.
Yeah.
So really, 3 really good candidates there. Very well-spoken, eloquent, and very thoughtful people to have as a state representative in the legislature. So great choices, all 3 of them.
That's good. Yeah, great choices, tough choices, I guess, for the voters out there.
You'd rather have all 3 good choices instead of all 3 bad choices.
Yeah,
so.
That's your take on it. So that's great to hear. 2 more things we'll probably talk about, and then I kind of want to just kind of get your opinion, your take on just overall. Kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the conference center, if that came up.
Yeah.
And maybe Amendment 5 if we have some time.
Yeah, so the conference center, that one obviously is a very hyper-local issue. Abortion, guns, that's very, very statewide. But the conference center is a very local issue here in Jeff City. There was some discussion of whether or not the $15 million that the governor had signed was the correct move, whether government should really be getting involved in that. And I think the general consensus, at least from the majority of candidates, was that this was a great investment because Jeff City, for the longest time, has been wanting to have a convention center, and this money would go towards helping fund the parking garage, which would be attached to the convention center, as I understand it. And I think there was a general agreement that it would be a great project for the city and great project for the district as a whole. There were some people that were concerned about government spending habits as well. I believe Lisa Thomas and Derek Spicer had some concerns about government spending on those projects, which rightfully so. Every Republican has some concerns about that. But again, there really was some open debate between the Republicans as whether or not government spending or government infrastructure investment was a worthy cause. And I think the majority of them agreed that this would be really good for the community. So yeah.
Okay, great. And then, like I said, I kind of want to talk about a little bit about Amendment 5, if that came up, and then, you know, anything else that you might have thought, maybe if somebody didn't watch last night, where on the YouTube or Facebook feed should they go to get kind of the meat of the matter, or something that you found most interesting?
Well, I think Amendment 5 is easily the biggest amendment topic we have this cycle, and probably is the biggest topic to discuss this election cycle, is the governor's proposal to remove the income tax gradually and replace it with an increased sales tax. A lot of candidates this cycle, especially Republicans, are very skeptical about the proposal. You had some Republicans last night that were discussing whether or not it seemed to be like a carte blanche proposal for the state government to open up the tax books and go in and do what they needed to do to replace the income tax. There's some Republicans who are a bit more optimistic. I think Jacob Vogel had a really good point where he said, you know, you don't have to like the proposal. I'm not trying to convince you to vote one way or the other. But he stated that he's voting on this for his kids' future. He wants to see a Missouri that grows. He wants to see a Missouri that continues to be welcoming to business. And so I think that's really kind of the 2 arguments we're seeing right now, is those who are skeptical of it. The Republicans have since the day the income tax was created have been in favor of getting rid of it. But there are some Republicans who are skeptical about the way we do it. And there are other Republicans who say we've had, 25 years of a state without too much growth and too much investment here. And so we want to see something new. And I think that's really the 2 arguments you're seeing right now. You see an argument of some caution, and you're seeing an argument of optimism for the future. So it is a very interesting topic, at least among Republicans right now.
Right. So of the races of that discussion that happened last night, which one should people go look at if they're going to look at any of them?
I mean, all 3 of them were great. Obviously, in the 59th, you have Vic Rackers and Carrie Turchin and Glenn Reynolds. Glenn used to be a board member for Blair Oaks. Okay. That's a huge deal. Vic Rackers, longtime family name here in Cole County. He's a great guy. Carrie Turgeon, former mayor of Jefferson City. That's a pretty big name to know too. That's a pretty interesting one. It'll be interesting to see how it breaks up, because that'll be rural Cole County areas and a little bit of outer Jefferson City as well.
West
Yeah,
County area.
And so you have that. That's a great one to watch. I would just say, depending on the district you're in, and then if you're in Central Jefferson City, obviously go watch the 60th district with Kiera and Scott and Shane. Great debate there. But if you're living in Cole County as a whole, or if you're not living in Cole County, but you're a reader of the California Democrat, or you're a Jefferson City News Tribune reader, but a little bit outside of the district, definitely go and watch that Senate debate in District 6. It was a really good debate. We had a great panel. I was really pleased with it last night.
Very good. All right. Well, any final thoughts?
I would just say continue to put investment and faith into local forums like that. Again, these races are very close. If you were to ask me right now my personal opinion on who's going to win each of these races, I would give you a solid I don't know.
That's fair. Okay.
It is very tight race, and local groups and candidates like that who show up and talk to voters, and local events like that are very important for these sorts of races. And so I think it was really good to see voters come out and listen to their candidates and their options they have this upcoming cycle.
Sounds great. Well, thank you again for joining me this morning and give me a recap. I wasn't there last night, so
well, you can always go back and watch it.
I know.
Always go back and watch it.
Watch it. All right. Well, so with that, we're gonna leave you this morning, and we appreciate you watching all the way to the end if you did. And we will see you next week. And thank you so much for watching the NT Daily.